Dars says, I'm struggling transitioning to plant-based. How do you get your taste buds to adjust? You just have to cinch your belt and muscle through. It really is that simple. Plant-based experts keep reminding us that when we're used to overly salty foods or, overly sweetened foods, it's going to take time for our taste buds and our mind to get accustomed to that flavor. But it should only take us about 2 weeks for our taste buds to readjust. I'm not sure what you're trying to transition to, but I do understand that it does take time to do that. Also, I learned this when I went to the Health Summit in Houston in February, and I learned from Dr. Carrie Saunders. Wait, is she a doctor or is she a nutritionist? I can't remember. I'm just going to say Carrie Saunders. I learned from her. This was really cool. Okay, so when it comes to our neurons and that whole and I'm not a scientist here, but I just kind of boiled down what I learned, and this is how I remember it. So, so we have neuron receptors, and we might have a neuron receptor with these 3 prongs, and when we get stimulus, like say from sugar or salt or caffeine or chocolate, okay, it feeds into the receptors, and it kind of locks on, okay, and then that neuron's like, it shoots off and says, oh yeah, hit me again. It's stimulated. The neuron is activated when the receptors are filled, and then it fires off. Well, when we bombard the neurons, our body's really smart, and if we start kind of overdosing, we start flooding our system with more stimulants than our neurons have. Well, our neurons will get real smart and start growing new receptors, and they'll start growing more receptors. So you have this neuron with these extra receptors. So in order to catch all this extra stimulus that's coming in, all these chemicals that are coming into the body, and it starts locking on, and you're like, and then the neuron fires off. But if all the receptors are not filled in, the neuron will not fire, and we don't get the high that we're looking for. Does that make sense? Okay. So if let's say that we've been used to drinking herbal tea, and then we start drinking espresso, then our neurons that have been accepting espresso drinks are like this, and then we go back to herbal tea. Well, the herbal tea doesn't have as many stimulants, and then all of a sudden this neuron won't fire, and we're like, man, this herbal tea is just really not doing it for me. Well, that's okay. Hang tight. Our bodies are smart. What happens is that our neurons, when they stop getting, if they don't get filled, if each neuron receptor isn't filled over time, those neuron receptors will die back and return to their original state. And then when you go to drink your herbal tea, well, now whatever stimulation it provided in the beginning can fill those neuron receptors, and then the neuron fires again, and then you feel at peace with like you did before. Isn't that cool? I hope I explained that well enough. Anyways, that was my big chunk that I learned from that. So that plays into like anything that provides a chemical to us that gives us a high or settles us, something that makes us feel low or calm or happy or sad, all of that. Any of those chemicals, because they're all just chemicals, any of those chemicals that help those neurons to fire, it works for them. Okay, that works. I'm going to stop right there before I totally butcher it. Bye.